Hey everybody, this is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Penovich. Here's your late night update on the snow. Let me kind of lay out, we're at the point of time where we can kind of lay out what could happen and couldn't happen, and we're kind of getting away from model data now, and it's really about nowcasting, kind of looking at what's happening. I'm going to kind of show you things that can make the snow totals go up or go down, and kind of why we've seen some of the changes in some of the products out there. Let me show you the radar first, because there's a lot to be said by just looking at what's happening to our west. Now, the first glance, you notice that the line looks like it's breaking up a little bit, but when I look at this, the thing that makes me a little bit cautious that we could see a burst of snow is we're starting to see a band form back here. This is a heavy snow band in there. So that's promising if you want snow, but we're also seeing it break up a little bit here as it pushes east. This is all going to hinge on whether or not this thing can flare up, basically low pressure, a wave develop on the front as it crosses over us and pushes off to the east. Now, you may have seen earlier that we've been upgraded to a winter storm warning. I don't think we're going to verify a lot of this. I still think there's a lot of landmines for getting 3-4 inches of snow. I think 1 to 3 is a good bet, but I do think close to Charlotte. We talked about this earlier. 4-inch totals, 2 to 4 inches could get really close to Charlotte. A slight shift either way can mean all the difference in the world. Let me show you the water vapor loop first, and I'll show you. It's kind of cool because you can actually see the system coming in. Here's our upper system kicking in. Now, one of the things I'll be watching for tonight on the water vapor loop is I'm going to see if we're going to get cooling cloud tops. So what I mean by that is I want to see brighter shades of green and yellow showing up here. That means we're getting some lift and some enhancement. Basically, we're getting some lift and some cooling cloud tops mean we're going to get some precipitation. That burst could develop. Right now, doesn't look overly promising, but I'm expecting it to fill in a little bit. I still think it's going to be just around Charlotte East. I am not sold on the Western Carolinas getting a whole lot out of this. So I have updated my maps, and I'm going to show you those in a second. But let me show you the short-range models, because that's really all we're going to look at is the HRR, which is a model that updates literally every hour. So it'll update, and it'll go up and down. Now, just be careful. These models will go crazy because they update every hour. So you can see it's doing a pretty good job. That looks a lot like our radar image, and that's always something to look at. How is it initializing? So I'm going to look at the current radar, and I kind of line it up with the current model. That's the radar. That's the model. So the model is a little bit, got a little bit more snow, but that's typical of this model. It tends to have a little bit more precip. You just know that going in, but it's really good for timing. So we'll go into the overnight hours. Whoa, that was quick. We'll go to about 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's only 2 hours from now. That's where it is. We'll go 4 hours into the future, which is going to be about 5 o'clock in the morning. So notice that we still don't have precipitation in the Charlotte area, which is interesting because this is the latest run. Just 4 hours of this model has come in, and there's some rain showing up there. Now, that's problematic because I do think we're going to see some rain initially. And just to show you, these are the current temperatures. It's still 40 degrees out there, and it's midnight. So it is likely going to start as rain, which means a big mess on the roadways. And that's really the whole thing of this. Too many people get caught up in the exact amounts. It doesn't matter the exact amount of snow. It matters the impact on your life. And whether we get a dusting or 4 inches tomorrow, I'm going to tell you both of those will cause issues on the roads tomorrow. So, we're splitting hairs over, is it going to be 1 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 2 inch? And honestly, all of those amounts will cause issues tomorrow because of the rain falling and the cold temperatures, which look on the back side of this. I hope that's a mistake because it can't be 18 below zero. But there are a lot of temperatures close to zero, if not below, in that snowpack to the west. That is some really cold air moving in. So that all being said, let's look at the model again. If it moves in and we get some rain initially, watch out because that's going to ice up and then we're going to get snow on top of that. That means even a dusting to a trace, big time issues. I'm going to go back to the previous model run so I can show you out further into the future. So let's go out a little bit further into the morning. Now we're getting, this is about 6 a.m. You could see rain snow mix, and this is really where things get interesting in the morning. That's why I think it's a smart idea for schools to delay or cancel completely, because once kids and cars get on the roads tomorrow, it's not going to get better. It's actually going to get worse as the morning goes on. So we'll stop this at 7 a.m. So 7 a.m. it looks like it starts changing to snow, and notice how the snow shield really spreads out. So we're counting on that happening over Charlotte if we're going to verify a winter storm warning and not to the east. And you can see it really peaks mid-morning. So I think the heaviest snow is 8, 9, 10, 11 a.m. That will probably be the heaviest snow through about the middle of the day. Now remember, cold air is rushing in on the backside, so it's not like the temperatures are going to warm up much tomorrow. If we get to the freezing mark, we'll be really lucky. We'll go into the afternoon, and notice there's actually a little kind of hook showing this. This is kind of a sign that the low pressure is actually formed here. Anytime I see this little signature like a comma shape, so that's the sign that the low pressure is showing up. And just to give you an idea of that, I'll show you the velocity or the relative vorticity, and it shows a really strong vorticity moving in. Other thing I'll look for is lift, and you see all this brighter colors. That's a sign of banding starting, so we could see some deformation showing there. One thing I like to look at, and I haven't looked at this, is CAPE. If we're going to see any CAPE values for any thunder snow, and right now it doesn't look like there's none. There's no surface-based CAPE in here. It doesn't look like. So that'll be something to watch. If we're going to get bigger totals, it's going to be because we get the banding and these little, areas of enhancement. But notice the rain still sneaking up in here. That's a troublesome sign in this model. If that could cut down totals, and that's why it's just such a hard forecast for totals, because any mixing at the beginning could really crush your totals. So let me show you what I'm thinking right now. So here is a look at my latest map, and you can see I brought in the 2 to 4 inch totals really close to Charlotte. So I think that's a chance we'll see that happen as it gets closer to the Charlotte area. You see those totals right in there. And so I do think we'll see those 2 to 4 inch amounts close to Charlotte, maybe Concord, Salisbury, Albemarle, maybe some 4 to 5 inch sneaking into Stanley County. And that's really where I think if we're going to see some big totals, I think they're going to be over in this area. I really do. Could they get close here? Now, remember, this is like a county difference here. And so this is why you can't get too caught up in these exact totals, because subtle shifts are going to have big impact on the totals. Everybody's getting enough snow to cause road issues. Now, is everyone getting enough snow for sledding or snowballs or snowmen? That's debatable. I think that's the question mark here that I have, 1 to 3 inches. So there's still a lot of issues that could go wrong and bust this forecast too low, but there's also some that could bust it too high. It's not a straightforward forecast. The only thing I can tell you is that this isn't a typical I-85 storm where it's going to be more snow north than south. It's going to be more snow east to west. So the change in snowfall amount is going to be east and west, and it's also going to be who's in these bands. We could have, even in counties, one area of town get a ton of snow and a whole bunch in a whole nother part of town not get much at all. We're not worried about too much ice falling. We're worried about ice on the roads. We're not worried about a lot of mixing, initial mixing with rain and then changing to snow. Once it changes to snow, it's likely going to stay snow. So that's the one thing that we don't have to worry about too much with this system. And just to kind of show you my updated snow meter, I pegged it at a 4. I think that's kind of where this event is. It's a high impact event, even though it's not a ton. Definitely buy bread and milk, though. That's just for fun, folks. You don't really need bread and milk. You'll be fine. You can get through a day and a half, 2 days at your house. Roads will be fine probably by Thursday afternoon. They'll be slick Thursday and Friday morning because of black ice, but in the afternoon heating and the sun, they're probably going to be fine. It's going to be the overnight hours. Charlotte's not going to close down, even though everything's closed, because that's what we do in Charlotte. We freak out over everything. So there's a look at the radar. I'm going to go back to the current setup here. Somebody's trying to call me. Hold on one sec. Let me disconnect that real quick. I'll go back to the radar real quickly here, show you what's going on now. Here's the current areas where it's snowing, just to show you where it's actually falling. It's falling in Nashville now, falling in Western, but those are the only areas actually seeing snow. And when I look at the close-in radar, snow it's after midnight, folks, and it's not showing up anything yet. So it's something to keep an eye on. I'll keep an eye on it throughout the overnight hours. John Wendell's keeping an eye on it, and we'll have complete details starting tomorrow morning. Just know this, please be careful with the roads. They will be slick tomorrow everywhere. Even if you get a trace, they're going to be slick because temperatures will fall. The later we get in the day, especially tomorrow night, they're going to be slick.